Good morning, everybody, and welcome back to the podcast. I have a couple finished items. One of those is not crochet, but I thought I would share it anyway because it is a craft that I've been doing. I have one whip, and then, I'm going to show you the plans for the next goddess that I'm going to be working on. So I think I'll start with whips first because I don't know, I think I'll just start with whips first. So here in Washington State, in the portion of the state that I live in, once it starts to warm up, it gets very hot and stays that way all the way up until September. We're talking about 100 above. It's very desert-like here. So trying to keep cool during those months is quite difficult, especially when you're outside. So I thought that I would be working, or I would work up several type of like crop top sort of things that I could just wear around the house or when we're out boating or in the yard or whatever. So I've been working on those. I have this whole bag here full of yarn that I've just kind of picked out of my stash. Most of it's cotton. I do have a couple acrylics here because I want to test out some patterns that I have an idea for. I seen a picture of it on Pinterest and kind of want to do my own spin on it. So, but I have a portion of one top done, and this is made out of, I love this cotton, and it is River Run. So it's greens and blues, and there's a little bit of brown in there. So I have the cups done. So they're just triangles. And I try to make them as big as possible to be able to get as much coverage as I possibly can. So I've made several of these type of tops before. Usually the cup's always the same, but I change up the band and the straps and everything. So I haven't figured out how exactly I want to do the band or the straps on these, but I figured if I just worked up a bunch of cups and then I could go from there, because I know that at least several of the tops that I'm wanting to make are going to have tops like this. So this is how this colorway worked up. I think it's really pretty. It's definitely out of my color range of my clothing, and I am trying to do that. I'm trying to get out of just all the dark colors that I normally have in my wardrobe and get in some of the bright colors. So that's what I'm doing with this. And the way that I do mine is I work so many stitches here, and then you go and you work back up one side, across the top, and back down the other side. So you're working both sides of the chain. But the way that I do it, you don't have that humongous gap that you would if you worked it the normal way. I work in the back loop, and that kind of squishes those stitches together and makes them nice and tight, so you don't have that hole there, because you don't want a hole right there. So, and crochet is kind of gappy as it is. So I am using a 5mm crochet hook. I probably could go down even one more size just to make it a little bit tighter, but I'm lazy and don't want to work on the same top for that long using a smaller hook. So I've got, the main portion done. Now I just have to figure out what I want to do for the band and for the straps. I have actually found on eBay some like bra clasps. They're plastic, and they kind of hook into each other like this and then snap. So I'm hoping that I'll be able to order those soon. I found a lot of them for, I think it was like a lot of 50 or something like that, for fairly cheap. So I think those will work out fairly well on these, and because I want to be able to not only wear these as tops, but wear them under other clothes if I want to. Uh, you know, sort of like a bra type. But I don't like wearing ties underneath my clothes, you know, because you have that giant lump in the back and it looks weird. So I've been trying to figure out ways around that. So that is one of the things that I've found. Another option would be like snaps. My husband just actually bought like a snap kit that you buy the snaps, and it has like a little punch that you know attach the snaps with. It's like a little kit you hammer the snaps in. So I could easily just order some snaps in the appropriate size and be able to do it that way, which might be another option, maybe a cheaper option. I don't know. I haven't looked into that yet. That actually just popped into my brain right now, so I need to make a note of that and try and see if I can price that stuff. So that is my only whip at this point. Like I said, I do have this entire bag, so I'm just going to slowly start working them up. I have lots of different cottons in here. I have more of that. I love this cotton. I have some peaches and cream in here, which is not as soft as this stuff is, but I think it will still work. So I do have some acrylic here too. So I have some like tops that I have an idea for, because I've seen some pictures on Pinterest, and the top is actually made out of granny squares. So I thought that I could work them up in some acrylic, and then be able to determine how much yardage I need, because I don't have access to a lot of cotton in my area. The I Love This Cotton is from Hobby Lobby, and Hobby Lobby's over an hour away from me. My husband normally, if I need something, will stop in on one of his work days and grab it for me then. But like I said, it's an hour away from me, so I don't really have access to that. So the only thing I have access to is Peaches and Cream and that new Lion brand cotton, which my Walmart just got in. I have not tried that yet, but like I said, I have very limited choices on cotton, which is best for summer tops to be used. But I thought I could work some up in acrylic, that way I can get the exact yardage of what I need, and then I know that I'll be able to get enough cotton to make the tops that I'm needing and all of that. So that is currently my only work in progress. So I do have finished projects. One of those is crochet, and one of those is a woodworking project that I have been working on. And yeah, so the first finished project is my crochet goddess doll. So she is complete, and I am thrilled. She's turned out really nice. And what's really nice about this is the way that she's constructed. I can hang her on the wall. So she'll be going on the wall above my altar at some point after I'm done with this video. So she turned out really nice. I love the way that the yarn worked up. It's not quite striping, but they do blend very well together. So I'm very pleased. And this pattern is really simple. I have just been struggling with it because I at first didn't sit there and count my stitches every row, which I should have, and then I made this mistake down here, and I didn't want to rip it out again because I had ripped it back so many times before that I was just tired of ripping it back, and I just decided to go ahead and decrease those 3 stitches that I had somehow gained, and it worked out fine. After that, I didn't have any problems with anything, so, and it's going to be sitting against the wall, so you won't even see that little bit of mess up. You can't even really tell it, but I did screw up a little bit right there. But it's turned out really nice. This pattern's called the Crochet Goddess Doll. It looks like this. Now, I found this on Google and it linked me over to Ravelry. I was just Googling free patterns for crochet goddess dolls, and I had a specific shape that I wanted, and I had seen pictures of this, just the pictures before, on Pinterest, but I never was able to find the pattern for it, so I just kind of Googled it, and it actually did shoot me over to Ravelry, and I was able to download it for free. So if you're interested in the pattern, definitely check it out. Like I said, it is called the Crochet Goddess Doll, and just look for this shape. When I printed it off, it didn't print who the pattern was by, so I don't remember, but it should pop right up when you type it in. And there are other dolls on there like this, but they're different shaped, and this was the one that had the, you know, just the perfect shape that I wanted, and that's why I went with this one. So I'm very pleased with this pattern. I definitely recommend it if you are interested in making one. I do recommend that you count your stitches every row and put a stitch marker in the beginning. I think that's what the beginning stitch, I think that's what screwed me up, which is a stupid mistake for as long as I've been crocheting, but my mind's just not quite been with it lately, so I needed to count every row and put a stitch marker in, and you know, sometimes you just have those days where things don't work out, and you probably shouldn't be working on them when you're like that, because you get frustrated because you have to rib it back so much. But I'm very pleased with that, and I have not started the second doll yet because I ran out of stuffing, so I need to get some more toy stuffing. But I have chosen the yarn for that, and the second doll will be for my youngest daughter. She has requested it in this yellow color. And I have been trying to use yarns that are in my stash already. This is pretty much the only yellow that I've had in my stash that was the right kind of yellow that she wanted. The only problem is it's a finer yarn, so I'm going to have to hold it together. And I knew when I wound this already that I would be working with it 2 strands at a time, because I don't really work with such lightweight yarn. This is probably a 2 weight, so I'm hoping that once I hold them together it will be kind of closer to a worsted weight. But I do have, you know, well, this is probably close to a full skein, and then this is, you know, probably a partial, so it should be just enough to be able to get that doll done. And she's really excited about it. She really liked it, so I have finished that. So if you're not interested in anything metaphysical, you're probably not going to be interested in this. This is going to touch slightly on the religious side, so if you're not interested in that, you can go ahead and click off. I'm perfectly fine with that. But I do want to share it with you because I am very proud of it. It is my second one that I've done, and it's only the first one of this type. I have done, my first wood burning experience was making a sign for our duck cage. My husband designed this little sign, which is actually the same shape as this, for our duck cage that we just got about a month ago. We got baby ducks, and he wanted to put a little sign on it, and it was really cute. I'll try and pop in a picture if I can, because that's the first wood burning I've ever done in my life, and I thought I did pretty good. I did screw up on it in one little spot, but I did really well on this, and I wanted to go ahead and share it with you. So this is a pendulum board, and if you guys don't know what a pendulum or pendulum board is, it's just a way of doing divination, which is kind of like fortune telling, same as tarot and you know, oracle cards and stuff like that. So you take your pendulum and you hold it over the board, and you ask it yes or no questions, and it'll swing whichever way the answer is. So this was my first attempt at doing this, and I think it turned out really well. My wood burning kit not only came with different fittings for different types of writing and drawing and stuff, but also came with like little stamp tips. So I kind of wanted to try all of them out, and this little shape gave me the best surface to be able to do that. So I just want to say that this has a pinnacle on it. I really would ask that everybody be respectful and not leave me nasty comments about it. It is part of my spirituality, and I respect everybody else's spirituality, so please respect mine. That's all I'm going to say about it. So I'm going to go ahead and share it with you. I think that it turned out really nice. So it has a pinnacle in the middle. It has the yes directions and the no directions, and then I put a border on it, and then I tried out one of the stamps, which is over here around the corners, and I wanted to try that because I screwed up on this corner. Well, I didn't really screw up, but when I was drawing the outline of the border, I messed it up on this corner, and I had to erase it and start over, but it wouldn't erase on the wood, so I needed to find something to cover that up, and that's what I did, was chose to do the stamps. So I think it's turned out really nice. So this is my first go at it. I am definitely going to be making more, and they are going to go up in my new shop once I get one, or once I get a good supply of them. My new shop is not open yet because I'm still working on handmade items to be putting in that shop. But this is going to be one of them. I'm going to be having pendulum boards in different shapes, with different designs, and some of them will have different images in the center. So, but this is my first attempt, and I think it was really nice, and I am very, very pleased with it. So I choose to go with this lighter board. I find this at Walmart because in my new shop, all of my products are going to be free shipping, and I work in the shipping cost into the actual price of the item. So if I can keep the shipping cost and all of my materials low, I can keep my pricing lower. So and that's definitely, you know, it's high on my priority list to be able to give you good, or give my customers good quality, but at a cheaper price. So it's super light. You could definitely pack this on the go. You could, and it's very thin, so you could just slip it into a bookshelf or just tuck it out of the way. It's not some big, huge chunk of wood that you can't really transport, and it takes up a lot of room. A lot of us don't have a lot of room in our houses for our metaphysical supplies, so I am one of those people that don't have a lot of room, so I try to find ways of getting around that and being able to find things that are compact and still very pretty. So I'm very pleased with it. How I do mine is I have tracing paper, and then I went on and got a font that I thought was very pretty, and got it to the right size that I needed, and then I just traced it onto the board, and that worked out perfectly. I did the same thing with the pinnacle. I have plans for the Tree of Life and trichetras and all manner of different symbols, even the goddess symbol that looks like this. So I'm definitely eager to be working on some more. I even have some different shaped boards. I have circles, I have stars, so but I thought it was pretty good for my first try, and yeah, so I think I've rambled on about that enough. So yeah, that is the last of my finished projects. I feel like I had something else to say, but I don't know what. Part of that is because I've already filmed this, and something messed up with my camera, and it like glitched out and didn't film it. So it said it filmed it, but then it like disappeared somehow. So, so yeah. I hope everybody is doing well. It is finally starting to warm up here, so I have the window open, and we've been able to do outside stuff. We finally planted our garden, which I'm thankful for. Like I said, we got ducks, and we've had them about a month now. So we got them as little ducklings, and they're about this big now. I'll try and pop in a picture if I can, if anybody's interested. And yeah, my youngest is thrilled. She's like constantly playing with them all the time, and they have severely bonded with her, so she's kind of their mommy. But it's so funny to be able to watch them. And I do have a video on my phone, so if I can try and get that transferred to the computer, I'll try and pop it in and share it with you guys. It's so funny when they're in the pond.
Holy cow! She's drowning herself.
Nasty little ducks. Get in there. What are you doing in there? Boy, she sure makes a mess.
Hey.
See how their feathers aren't even getting wet?
Yeah.
The other one won't go in.
I'm just confused.
Kind of figured out was the issue.
So, a little progress. I'm trying to get back in the swing of things. I think I've rambled enough, so I hope everybody has a good week, and I will see you next time.